Have you ever heard of the experiment where they put into a room 9 actors and 1 person who was not an actor? And they did an experiment where they were putting things up on the board that were blatantly not true for this experiment. And they wanted to see how human beings actually respond to things when they're under pressure or really in the minority. Have you seen that? It's a fascinating thing to watch how this one person who can clearly see that it's untrue, but because they're surrounded with so many different people in the room saying that what's being put on the board is true, they have difficulty to stand up and speak against it, and they begin to just join in on the crowd and say, all right, it's true, even though they know inside that it's not. Can we see in our culture, in our country right now, that we are facing that as believers? We are, for a lack of better terms, sitting in that classroom, surrounded by what we think is the majority, saying things that we know are not true. And yet the pressure on us to just kind of give in or be quiet or sit there and not really push back is great. Our ministry has been willing to do that for over 50 years. I personally have watched that happen. As my parents founded the ministry in 1971, I have watched them sacrifice. I have watched them be persecuted. I have watched them be discouraged but never give up. And now as my husband Noah and I are in the leadership, we are also now, this new generation, facing so many different trials, obstacles, yes, incredible open doors that God is giving us, but with that comes major resistance from the enemy, because he does not want to see this happen. He does not want to see believers willing to actually create something that is an alternative that can really change the tide of what's going on in this country and in the world. And right now, we have the Horse and His Boy going to World Stage Theater right in the middle of the heart of this country in DC at Museum of the Bible. This is a huge statement, and the enemy does not want it to happen. And so with all of that said, we've had a donor step forward that knows this, and they want this to grow bigger than just a show. They want the seats to be filled with people who are willing to say, hey, I'm going to join up in this movement. They want to buy 153 tickets to be given away. Why 153? Why that random number? Well, if you know in the scriptures, when the Lord came to his disciples and they had been fishing all night and finding nothing, that he came to them and said, children, have ye any meat? And they say no. And he says, cast your net on the right side of the ship and ye shall find. And the Bible says that 153 untorn fish were brought in that night. And we're looking for 153 people who are willing to say, you know what? I'm going to represent those 153 untorn fish. And so if you want to be one of those 153, you share this post. You also tag an influencer that you think would want to know about what the Academy of Arts, Logos Theater, and the Museum of the Bible are trying to do in this movement, in this cultural war. And then also please like and follow the Academy of Arts, Logos Theater, and Museum of the Bible. If you do those things, you can be selected to get one of the 153 tickets that are for free. And then when you come to Museum of the Bible, we want to hear from you. So please join us up in Washington, D.C. for Horse and His Boy. Come get one of your free tickets by sharing this, commenting, liking, and also tagging an influencer and saying, hey, I'm going to cast my net with the Academy of Arts, Logos Theater, and Museum of the Bible on the right side of the ship.